channel. I'm Jen at KetosisMom. Before we get started today, I do want to note that today does contain a paid partnership that helps to support this channel so that I can continue to bring content like this to you all for free each week. Today we're going to be talking about VIOME and go over my VIOME results and a little bit more about their gut health testing and what my results told me. Some of it was a little surprising and some of it wasn't, but we'll go over that in today's video. We'll go over GLP-1s in the news as always, which is my favorite bit. We'll go over week 26 results for me on the 5 milligram. I did obtain my 7.5 milligram. There were some hurdles. We'll go over that as well. And I'll show you my week 27, which is this week, of my injection of Zepbound. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, today I am gonna go over my week 26 results first. I did lose 1.4 pounds over the past week. However, that's still not really an overall net loss that is really significant for the entire month of June or the entire month of July. I'll put those up right here. Those are the 2 months that I was on Zepbound 5 milligram. So I know that a lot of people will have really great success at the 2.5 milligram, not so much at the 5, and then it picks back up again at 7.5 or even the 10 for some people. So my doctors decided that it was time for me to move on to the 7.5 milligram. There have been some hurdles that I want to tell you guys about when it comes to obtaining this 7.5 milligram. Not only is my insurance requiring a brand new prior authorization for me to get the 7.5 milligram that multiple people are working on. They did fill one in the 7.5 milligram and then immediately reached out to the doctor and said, hey, we want a brand new prior authorization. And they also want something else that they're looking at because they want reasoning behind this dosage change. I'm not really sure why. I have Aetna. I do not have Blue Cross Blue Shield. I do know that Blue Cross Blue Shield is requiring all kinds of hurdles as far as, have you attempted to lose weight in the past 6 months? Have you tried other things? What is their current weight? What else have you done with them before we approve this? And even then, come January 1st, they plan to completely cut coverage anyway. So from August 1st until December, they're basically just making both doctors' offices and patients jump through hurdles for no reason. That brings me to our in the news this week. So one thing that I put over in our community tab, and I'll show you guys right over here where that is. I'm kind of new to YouTube, and so I do like this community tab for kind of discussing things back and forth in between videos each week. So I did put a video over there of the Eli Lilly CEO, David Ricks. He was on CNBC just yesterday. And he was talking about how they have a 3-year study now that he is saying that 94% of their patients who were pre-diabetic did not move further into pre-diabetes or diabetes state. Therefore, he is requesting that they also get approvals for Tirzepatide, Mounjaro, Zepbound to be an approved indicated use treatment for pre-diabetic patients so that they do not ever fully become diabetic. That 94% that he's touting there is very impressive. I don't know how the FDA is going to handle that. I think that a lot of these things with Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly coming on the news, especially with it being political season as well, is a lot behind trying to get the American public to really push for not only lower drug prices, but the drug access to these drugs as well. One thing I will note kind of behind that is he did state on that interview, if you read it, that they need insurance coverage and they do need the government to cover the medicine as well for the mass population in the United States. He did say that this is helping Americans be healthier long term, and Eli Lilly does not understand why it's not being covered for everyone. Personally, I think this is going to be a long battle between insurance companies and manufacturers and even the government and manufacturers as well, just because in history, right, we talked about we have the manufactured drug, we have these PBMs, we have these insurance companies, and the PBMs kind of act as this middleman that they want to collect money from not only the patients, they want to collect money from the corporate people who are paying for the insurance, per worker. And then they also want to collect money from the manufacturer just to put that manufactured drug on their approved drug list. So you have this middleman who has typically made lots and lots of money that really Eli Lilly wants to just say, we're kind of done with you. We're not going to pay you anymore. The American people want this. We know they want it. They're paying for it out of their own pockets. And I think that this is all going to result in way down the road, Eli Lilly Direct saying, hey, we've already set up a Lilly Direct. We will sell directly to Americans and they can just pay us direct out of pocket without insurance. Personally, I think it would be a smart move on Eli Lilly to just say, hey, we're going to charge everybody $100 a month that wants to just pay us directly out of pocket and not go through their insurance and not file this and not have to do all this paperwork. Because I personally have an entire Weight Watchers insurance clinic team and doctor trying to work on brand new PAs today when I already had a PA submitted. I've been on this medicine since February, so we're looking at about 6 months now. They want an all new PA, all new paperwork, all new information on if I've been eating correctly, if I've been working out correctly, just for my insurance to look at it and say whether or not they're going to approve it. So over the next couple of weeks before I fill my prescription again, I could very well get a denied PA where my drug is no longer covered anymore. Most Americans and most doctors' offices as well don't want to deal with this. Okay, it's just a giant steaming pile of poop that we're having to go through just to gain access to this, even though it's supposed to be covered. Most people on the forums are reporting out that their doctor's offices are saying that they are no longer going to be prescribing this medicine because the amount of paperwork behind it to get it approved and to also upkeep the patient on the dosage, that they do not have the staffing within their office to support that. I also understand that you don't have people who can sit and just write all this paperwork up all the time on all of these patients. My husband went to pick up my prescription for me yesterday because I had to pick up children, and we also had an open house at the school and I was tied up. They finally filled it and it was due today. I had him go grab it for me and he said every single person in line was there for Zepbound, that the majority of them were getting the 5 milligram. There was a few people getting 2.5 milligram, which tells me that, yeah, we have a lot of people who are still just now coming on the drug and adding even more people to it because it is showing currently on the FDA shortage list that all levels are available. They did say that the FDA is doing an evaluation of whether or not these volumes that are being reported out by Eli Lilly for each one of their dosages is currently able to fill the demand or not. At the same time, the FDA warned last week about numerous overdoses, warnings, integrity and purity of compounds. They also additionally, alongside Eli Lilly, are sending out cease and desist letters, and they continue to send out cease and desist letters to med spas, to doctors' offices, and to compounding facilities, stating that once this drug is fully removed from the shortage list, they are no longer allowed to compound or offer services claiming to be a Tirzepatide. Now, this is something that's in the works. I can't wait to see what the FDA finally decides on this and how they also push that out and roll that out across the board in the United States. I think that we're going to end up like Australia, and it's just going to be a complete ban on compounding Tirzepatide. Because those are my thoughts, that is why I also feel like it would be an Eli Lilly and both Novo Nordisk direct benefit to just go ahead and say we are going to offer this to anyone who obtains a medical prescription, and we will not charge them the full price and they can get it from us through one of our direct programs and completely bypass insurance. This would also shut down compounders as well, with people being able to get the name brand at a much less price. I'm hoping, I'm fingers crossed for everybody that that is to come. I know that a lot of people really love their compounds. They really feel like they work great for them. I would love to see down the road if compounding individuals and patients did switch over to name brand, if they had better results or worse results, or how it really ends up for them. I would love to hear down below if you've previously been on name brand and switched to a compound because of all these insurance issues, if you felt like the name brand worked better for you or if the compound worked better for you. There's also been a lot of discussions about the peptides that Eli Lilly uses, and I did put that over in the community this past week as well, because I was looking more into the Indiana facilities that are the $9 billion facilities that are going to be built, just because I know some people that are on that project right now, and I wanted to know what it was they were going to be doing. They are in fact going to be producing the API ingredient of the Tirzepatide at those facilities via a continuous manufacturing process. That continuous manufacturing process was currently set up in the Ireland Eli Lilly facility to mass produce this API, and it just can't keep up. If you think about what I've said in the past about Eli Lilly also asking the FTC and the FDA to close down the import of Tirzepatide into the United States in order to cut these compounders off from being able to compound this any longer, they would also be cutting themselves off at the foot because they would not be able to import the API from Ireland, which is why I believe they are building these facilities in Indiana to mass produce for the United States their Tirzepatide within the United States. You'll see a lot of people on forums trying to say that Eli Lilly is using the same peptide that they're getting from China or India or wherever else, and Eli Lilly actually is the reason they have the patent on this Tirzepatide is because it is an API ingredient that they are themselves producing for use, and they are building large manufacturing dual facilities that will produce both a solid and a liquid form of Tirzepatide at the two separate buildings for whether or not it's going to be going into a pill version or whether or not it will be going into an injectable version. Ro has launched a new insurance checker for everyone. So if you're unsure if your insurance is still providing coverage for this drug for you, or if there are any updates, you can head over to Ro and check your insurance coverage through them. I believe that this is a hopes of Ro to also kind of loop people in to where if they tell them that it's not covered by their insurance, that they might sign up for their program. So just be aware of that. I am not sponsored by Ro in any way, shape, or form. It is just something that I saw in the news for GLP-1 that is a new checker for the public to be able to utilize. On top of all these cease and desist letters that are being sent out, I am seeing more and more platforms that are popping up like Sesame. They are going to start offering a direct virtual appointment with a doctor to obtain a compounded GLP-1 such as Wegovy or Ozempic via their service for $249. This is one of the lower price points that I have seen. I also am not really sure how that's going to work for them, seeing as all of these cease and desist letters are going out. So I would be cautious as far as signing up to any type of subscription or paid in advance program around compounds at this time until you see how it plays out long term. Starting this fall, Eli Lilly is going to also be testing their Tirzepatide alongside one of their psoriasis medicines. They are looking for individuals to volunteer for this clinical trial that they're going to be running. So you can head over to Eli Lilly's clinical trial website and fill out a form and see if possibly you are a candidate for this study, testing the effectiveness of Tirzepatide coupled with their other drug to see how it reacts with the body to get rid of psoriasis. Now I'm going to get over into my VIOME test kit that I did. I do want to be very clear with everyone. I purchased this kit on my own. This was not a gifted kit to me. I wanted to know about my gut health after watching a Netflix documentary that I told you guys about weeks and weeks ago. So if you need something to watch to understand a little bit more about microbiome and how it can affect your entire health, from your inflammation markers to your mood, to acne on your face, to your overall digestion of foods, then I suggest watching this on Netflix. It was eye-opening to me, and that is the whole reason that I even wanted to take the VIOME gut health test. Now, I do work with VIOME to bring a code for you all that you can use to get any of their tests, any of their supplements, anything that they have, pre-probiotics, whatever you would like from them. I do earn from those codes and that link. However, this test I purchased on my own. I did this test on my own, and I also am looking at whether or not I want to take some of their, what they would call solutions, to help what my test scores were. So I'm gonna put up some slides so that you guys can see exactly what it was that I did with this gut health test, because I don't want to misspeak or over promise anything. So it's going to be very verbatim of what VIOME says. They have not provided me any type of script. However, I also don't want to say, hey, it will tell you these things, because that might just be what's on my test. So first of all, I did the gut health test. It is a gut microbiome, and it has trillions of microbes that directly influence everything. Like I said, it can be your mood, it can be your digestion of foods, it can be your immune system, it can be your response to infections or even allergens. No one really fully understands how the gut can affect your overall health until now, when they're studying these microbiomes and these microbes down in our gut. So it gives insights into nutrient absorption, beneficial and harmful microbial activities going on in your gut, intestinal barrier health, and also any kind of signatures of inflammation in your gut. Now, if you guys recall, I have an autoimmune disease. I also have IBDC. I've had both of those for years. So I already know that I have some type of issues with digestion. I already know that I have inflammation as well. So I wanted to deep dive into this and find out what are some ways that I can help possibly correct this, or even make it, like 80% better, right? And I will show you all, there is a VIOME app that you can get on your phone that will bring up everything for you. It will tell you what your test results are. It will tell you what type of nutrition, what type of foods you should be eating, what type of foods you should be avoiding. It can also go over, like, for instance, I am not optimal in my scores. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys that. I got not optimal, which is a nice way of saying you have piss poor results, okay? So it goes through, it even gives you an action plan within here, and then here is my food list as well. So I have this with me at all times, but I am going to be going over kind of on a larger screen so that I can show you guys what all you get in your testing results when you get this. And I have no problem sharing this with you. I understand this is health information and HIPAA laws and things like that, but I am publicly sharing it with you, and I'm okay with that. So overall, in order to improve my health, VIOME says that I have 44 different foods that I need to avoid. I have 47 supplement ingredients, and I have 31 superfoods. Overall, my gut health is below average, and it's in the red zone at 39 for not optimal gut health. I have digestive efficiency issues. I have gas production issues, which we all knew was going to be the case because I have Sibo. I have gut lining health issues. So this is talking about the microbes that are within my intestines that are possibly causing what I would consider to be like a leaky gut syndrome, where they're leaving the intestines and basically just kind of wreaking havoc on the rest of my body, which gets me to my inflammatory activity, also not optimal. My microbiome-induced stress, also not optimal. My protein fermentation, now this is one that was a little eye-opening for me, because I have on my foods to avoid red meat. And as I sit and really think about this, and if you all remember, I talked about how I was originally eating keto, I was gaining weight eating keto. No one could figure out why. I was working out all the time, eating low carb, and so I went carnivore. When I went carnivore, I really started gaining weight. I really started having a lot more autoimmune issues, inflammation flare-ups. I was also kind of progressing my IBDC, which is constipation. So my body actually has an issue with processing and digesting red meat. Additionally, within my results, it goes over different type of methane gas, ammonia, uric acid pathways. It goes through all of the salt stress pathways. So underneath each one of these functional scores that I got, and yes, what you do is you receive this in the mail, you take your excrement, you put it in a small vial, you mix it up, you make sure that it's mixed up really well before you send it back out. You put it back into a biohazard sleeve and you mail it back to the lab. it takes about 3 weeks for them to break down all of these RNA sequences and to also evaluate all the different types of bacteria that they're finding or the lack of bacteria within your excrement that you've sent to them. So this is extremely individualized, extremely personalized. This isn't just like a guesstimate of, oh, hey, we're going to tell you these things. It is an actual like breakdown of your own excrement that you've sent in. So of course I knew I was going to have digestive efficiency issues. I wasn't really sure about my gut lining health. I thought maybe that would be a problem. I knew inflammation would be a problem. I knew all the gases would be a problem because of Sibo. What I didn't realize was how many different foods that I would have that are listed that I need to avoid. Now, what's interesting about this is a lot of my avoid foods are also the avoid foods that are on a FODMAP, which is how you have to eat for Sibo. So we're talking about alfalfa sprouts, we're talking about beans, we're talking about all the different types of dairy when it comes to milk and cheeses. So all of the things that I already know that I need to avoid for Sibo are also on this list of things that I should not be eating. So to me, it's like, okay, yeah, I have Sibo. I know that I'm not supposed to eat those things. That's great. Also on here, if I go to, there's superfoods, which are foods you can enjoy all the time. Enjoy foods, also enjoy all the time. Minimize, obviously, let's cut it down a little bit. Maybe we have it once or twice a month. And then avoid. So of the avoid foods, I was very, very surprised to see that I did have both beef, and that is fatty and lean beef, as well as buffalo. I have cane sugar on here. I have cashews on here. I have chicory root on here. I have the cocoa, like the unsweetened cocoa, which is what I've basically been doing, like a dark cocoa for like a treat when I want one. Crab was on here. I eat shrimp nonstop. Shrimp was on here. I also eat corn. You guys know that since I was keto, I wanted corn all the time. And then since I've stopped doing keto, then I have kind of gone back to corn. Corn is kind of one of my like limit foods now. Watermelon is on here to avoid. Turmeric is also on here to avoid due to turmeric's reaction with bile production. And I have been taking turmeric supplements in excess for years because I thought that turmeric was going to help me with my inflammation. Obviously, it's something that I don't need to be having. All of your normal Sibo foods, like all of the different beans, your wheat, your cheeses, your honey, your onions, your garlic, all of that is also what I was expecting to see on this list. I was not expecting to see red meat, shrimp, which I typically on a daily basis was eating some type of red meat, some type of shrimp, a potato, a corn, a salad. And so now when I give this list to my husband, he's going, what the heck are you going to eat? So I'm having to kind of do this full overhaul over into more of like the chicken, the pork, the turkey world, which is your true like super lean proteins, and try to focus there. I do still want to dig a little bit more into these results because I want to look at the things like the pea protein that has been in my protein powders to see where that falls on here. So the good thing about this list, especially on my app, right? So if I'm out somewhere and I'm about to buy something, I can say, oh gosh, I can't remember, is that on my avoid list or not? I can simply hit right here where it says nutrition. It will bring up all of the different foods that I should avoid, minimize, enjoy, things like that. I can also search within those foods. So if I put the pea protein on here, it says that it doesn't find anything on that. So if I just put peas, okay, so chickpeas are a minimize for me. And I have been eating a chickpea pasta anytime I've been wanting macaroni and cheese. Black-eyed peas are also a minimize. Normal peas, such as snap peas, are enjoy, but the English smaller peas are a minimize. So I don't really have a good answer for the protein and the pea protein that I'm using for actual protein. And so over the next probably month to 2 months, My plan is to have a full printout of just the foods that it says are my superfoods or my enjoy foods. And I'm going to put that over my Sibo FODMAP that is on the refrigerator so that my husband can see, okay, here's what she can have. Because my husband is amazing. He grills all the time and he will grill in bulk. And because I've really been just wanting steak and shrimp and corn and potatoes and a salad, he has really gotten in a routine of just kind of making those things on repeat. And occasionally he'll make, like a smoked pork butt. Because all of us, my kids call that chewy chicken and they love eating it as well. However, we're going to have to kind of overhaul, what I'm eating. And I told him, by no means think that you should stop eating steak because I'm not supposed to have steak. It's just when we're cooking steak, maybe we throw on a chicken breast for me and we season it and put some olive oil on it. I am going to really try this because last week I had a ribeye that my husband cooked. And then about 3 or 4 days later, I had a hamburger. And for the entire last week, I have had severe constipation to the point where I am trying everything that I can from the video that I posted about extreme constipation. I've been dealing with constipation for years and I never really fully chalked it up to that it was only solely the foods that I was eating. And I've also grabbed some additional magnesium supplements to try to help with that. Now, one thing that I will say about VIOME is while it tells me all of this, and this is great about the food, they do also offer, I have not gotten into this yet. I'm still considering whether or not I want to do this. They do pull together what they're calling a precision supplement. So it's saying, here's the things within a supplement like biotin, berberine, blueberry extract, chromium, cranberry extract, cumin, ginkgo biloba, green tea, lactase, lipase, peppermint leaf, protease, resveratrol, zinc. Here's basically based on your specific gut microbiome, here are some supplements that you could benefit from that may help you. My husband's not really big on me taking supplements. I've never had a supplement that was basically built for me specifically. And I have in the past had all kinds of supplements that I'm taking at once, and it drives my husband absolutely insane because he hates me taking them. They also, one thing that I would probably be more interested in that they do is they do the Precision Pro and Prebiotics. So they look at the type of bacillus, so the type of bacteria that you have in your gut already, and then they tell you here are the type of bacteria that you're lacking or you're missing or that would complement what you already have well. And then they build your pre and probiotic for you into those capsules. That would probably be more in line with what I would be willing to try to see if it helps aid the movement of things throughout my digestive system and also helps alleviate some of my anti-inflammatory type things, my autoimmune stuff that I have going on. I will let you guys know if I get either one of those in the future, but right now I just did the test to give me more insight of what's going on down in my own digestive system. Now they do offer different types of tests as well. You don't have to do a gut intelligence test. They have a full body intelligence test that will tell you gut, cellular, and also oral health as well. And you can pick which type of test you would like to do. Each one of those tests, there's also a cancer detect test for both throat and oral cancer, if that runs in your family's history, or you suspect that you might have something like that. You can grab any of these tests using these codes right here, and you can get a % off of both the test and also the supplement packages or pre or probiotic packages if that you feel that you for sure are going to want to take whatever these doctors and these researchers are saying would benefit your digestive system. I will also tell you all that I did put up over in the community, I was back and forth on whether or not for my week 27, I wanted to take a 5 milligram that I still had on hand, or if I wanted to go ahead and take the 7.5 milligram. Because I've been reached out by my care team at Weight Watchers Clinic and said hey, we're having to resubmit all of this paperwork for approvals again for you to be able to obtain the next box of 7.5. I got a little hesitant because I know that often this can go back and forth a lot. It could also just be completely denied. And so I did not start the 7.5 today. I did an additional, and I'll show you guys right up here, I did an additional shot of the 5 milligram. I'm not really sure if the doctor's going to come back and say, hey, your insurance is saying you have to stay on the 5 longer amount of time, because they did mention something about how the insurance noticed some type of pattern when it came to my dosage. And so I'm not sure if they're going to want me to stay on the 5 milligram for the same length of time that I stayed on the 2.5. Personally, I think it's kind of ridiculous that insurance companies can even attempt to dictate this over a medical doctor for a patient. But I am a little hesitant to go ahead and take it. Plus, I know that they're saying that all of the levels are in stock. However, when I asked my pharmacy, I said, how much of the 7.5 do you have? They said, oh, we have an entire refrigerator full of that. I also get nervous when my husband tells me, hey, every single person in line was there to get Zepbound today. With more and more people starting the drug and then more and more people not being able to obtain the 2.5 or the 5 that will progress up to the 7.5, who knows whether or not I'm going to be able to obtain it. And this is the first time that I've ever been on a drug that I felt this way, that I felt nervous to take the next dosage or the stronger titration that has been prescribed to me by a doctor, because I've been in fear of whether or not I'm going to be able to obtain it or not. Again, I know that a lot of people are going out to all of the compounding facilities in the midst of them receiving all of these cease and desist letters and trying to stock up as much as they possibly can on the compound just in case their insurance stops providing coverage for them before we can really figure out what the true price of Zepbound is going to be for the public without insurance coverage, because there's no possible way they're going to be able to leave it at over $1,000 long term. I think right now they're probably just trying to recoup some of their costs that they've spent in building additional manufacturing facilities. But at some point, there's going to have to be a lower cost within the United States. It's just going to have to happen, because most of these insurances are deciding that they are not going to cover these drugs, even the ones that were previously covering it before. So if you're not having insurance cover the drug, you're cutting off the supply and you're cutting off the ability to all the compounders to be able to also make the drug at a lower cost for people. You have to have some type of solution that is a cost-effective solution for the masses. So I'm looking forward to see how this will go. I myself, even though it is covered, and this last one that was picked up was a $0 cost for me because I've already met my deductible this year. And so I was really surprised by that. I'm also wondering if, because I've met my deductible and it's a $0 cost, if that's not why the insurance is requiring all this additional paperwork as well. Like I said, I take my Cosentyx monthly, and I've been on Cosentyx, I think, for about 1.5 years now. And so Cosentyx is not cheap for my insurance. I think my husband said it's around $6,000 or $7,000. Even at the insurance cost for them to have to cover for me, because he really had to fight with his employer to cover that drug for me when he took his new assignment and his new role at his new job, because I went from having it covered to all of a sudden they weren't going to cover it anymore. And so they had to add it on to their insurance plan as coverage specifically for me, I believe, because I'm the only spouse or employee that was having to take it. And it was not on their approved drug list. The approved drugs that they had on their list were drugs that I had already had interactions with and could not take, and I was at a higher tiered drug. So I've met my deductible. It's $0 cost for me right now, which is absolutely fantastic. But we will find out how often I am actually able to obtain it and find it in weeks to come. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys going and looking at VIOME. Just look and see if it might be something for you. Looking at different brands that I work with and using the links and using the codes just helps support my work as a creator and helps me bring more content to you every single week. for free. And so I really like doing this. This is probably one of my favorite types of content to create. I like the community that's here, and I like conversating with everybody. And it kind of gives me a little bit of a how am I doing overall standpoint for myself as well, to really kind of think about where I was and where I've come. This is how much weight I've currently lost since Valentine's Day of 2024. So I'm good with the slower weight loss. I'm just trying to figure out how to get over the hiccup over the last 2 months that really was no net loss there with the 5 milligrams. You all can follow me on YouTube or hit the subscribe button and the bell. I'm not really sure if you guys also get alerts on when I post things to the community tab or not. You guys let me know down in the comments below if you do get alerted by that, and if you guys like me putting up some of the news and putting up some other things to watch over there and discussions, or if you would rather keep everything within the video comments. I'm open to suggestions. You guys can find me on Instagram at Living Large and Lily or at KetosisMom. Tapping and following both of those also helps my creator work, because it lets brands know that you like the work I'm doing and you like seeing what I'm putting out. You can also follow me over on Amazon at amazon.com/shop/KetosisMom. I do a lot of product reviews over there, a lot of this or that. And so for the upcoming holiday shopping season that everybody's already starting now, which is absolutely insane to me, if you're looking to buy something, I might just have up a quick review on it. And if you guys ever have questions, just let me know. I will see you guys next week for my week 28. Bye, y'all.